All right, so today we're going to talk about foodie fun at home, and we're doing a holiday style version. And today is ideas for your holiday menu. Okay, so let's get started, I guess. So my name is Andrea Nicolai, and I work for the University of Florida in the extension in Polk County, and I'm a family and consumer sciences agent, and I'm a registered dietitian. So I love talking about food. And so I'm hoping to help you guys so that you can maintain, not gain, this holiday season. So here is, if you don't use Zoom very much, if you kind of hover over the bottom, you can see the chat box. Usually it'll come up, and if it doesn't, then you'll see these dots and it says more. And then you can click on that and you can type in things like I'm looking at it now, and people have typed in hello and things like that. And just let me know if you can't see my screen or anything. And you guys were great about telling me about muted. So, and then I have an evaluation that will be sent following the webinar, and I really appreciate your feedback. So I'm going to try to figure out who's on here today and send you an email, and I would love it that you do that, so then I know how I can make them better. All right, so the three big things I'm hoping you'll take away today is like how to make over your favorites and keep the flavor but lose all the extra calories, and give you some healthy and delicious sides for your menu, and then ideas for using the leftovers, because the idea is you don't want them just sitting in your fridge, because that will eventually cost you money if you have to throw them away. So it's better if you use them. So what I'm hoping is just to make this fun, like give you some ideas and actually a couple things where you can actually take this and apply it to your holiday so that you guys have a healthier holiday. Because you might as well finish with the meal. You know how there's that satisfied, you're like, yeah, but then there's the satisfied, like, I'm kind of stuffed satisfied. Like there's like, I want you to get at the, full and just like happy, happy and healthy. That's my goal. So just to always keep this in mind, this is the my plate, right? So what we're aiming for with the meals then is remembering the goal. Like when you're making your plate, even for like the holidays, Thanksgiving, whatever you celebrate, trying to make half of it that fruits and vegetables. So I want to show you some ideas today on how you can have those foods there. Because sometimes we go to meals and it's just like, say it's chicken and mac and cheese. There's no vegetables, no fruits in that. And so you need to add something then, okay? So the goal is to have your plate half with vegetables and fruits. This is our goal, right? 1/4 of it would be that grain section, or that's where the starchy stuff goes. And that also includes corn, stuffing, potatoes, sweet potatoes, pie. You see where I'm saying here? That's only supposed to be 1/4 of the plate. So we're going to have fun. So protein, so you can think about what you might put there. And it doesn't have to be a meat. It could be beans. And then, getting your calcium, remembering that. So I wanted big picture, right? Just instead of, these are some basic substitutions, because I know you guys all have your family favorites. Everybody has their thing that their mom really loves, and that you really want to make. And so I'm just wondering if maybe you'd be open this year for testing it with one of these options instead of the cream, for instance. Use evaporated skim milk because it's that creamy flavor like that too. Sour cream, you can use low fat or fat-free sour cream or plain Greek yogurt. If you've tried it, it's crazy how close it is. White or brown sugar, usually you can use 1/3 to 1/2 less just in your dish. Just cut it, and people won't notice. Cream cheese, try the low fat or fat free, or that Neuchatel. So, or you could try pureed low fat cottage cheese. And so Neuchatel, you might see that in the store and you're kind of like, well, what exactly is that? But it basically, it's cream cheese made from just the milk, whereas cream cheese is usually made from milk and cream. So that's why it's a little bit better for us. So it's less fat. And then buttermilk, I have the, fat-free or fat-free buttermilk, or you can make your own with skim milk and just add a little vinegar or lemon juice and mayonnaise, then use that Greek yogurt or low-fat mayo, and then butter. Like, just try to reduce it, things like mac and cheese, you don't need that much and you still can get a good creaminess. And then, or use a smart spread. That would be great too. So let's try, I'm just going to pull up a couple of our, I think, the Southern favorites, and then let's see if we can figure out how you could do it. So we have that classic healthier homemade green bean casserole. For those of you who don't know, it's that casserole consisting, it's like green beans, cream of mushroom soup usually, and French fried onions. So this actually, that recipe was made by the Campbell Soup Company. So they're really smart, right? So what you could do then is use crushed cornflakes or whole grain breadcrumbs instead of those fried onions. And then there's actually a recipe on the Campbell's website using their healthy request, or just use the 98% fat-free cream of mushroom soup, and then use green beans, the fresh ones. And then you could also just add in some vegetables like mushrooms, because cream of mushroom soup, right? It's in there anyway. And then, using instead of the soup mix, using a chicken broth, and then thickening it with flour and a little bit of butter. So I'm using whole wheat panko breadcrumbs like we talked about. And then trying maybe something new. Maybe you don't have the green bean casserole. Maybe you just saute the green beans with almonds. It's, so that is really good dish. And then there's also the sauteed green beans. You can kind of see it pictured there with the dried cranberries and toasted walnuts. It's really good. So those are some options. And then there's a sweet potato casserole. And so just remember, sweet potatoes, they already have sweetness. So that's good. We're on it. But what you could easily do, and I've made this dish a lot of times, and people have finished it multiple times. So it must have been good, because I know there's a lot of food at Thanksgiving. So just trying something like mashed sweet potatoes. You add vanilla, cinnamon, and eggs for the bottom, right? And remember, vanilla and cinnamon, they have a natural sweetness. So it's kind of really helping us cut the sugar. And then, so say you have all that on the bottom, and then you top it with some toasted nuts, basically. A little bit of brown sugar if you want, or you could do a drizzle of maple syrup or oatmeal. And then you just bake it, and it's really good. So that's an option. Mac and cheese. Okay, everybody loves that, right? So you replace the cream with evaporated skim milk, or you just use skim milk. And you can use broth if you need to thin it out more. And then I'll show you how you can actually add veggies and reduce the butter. You don't need the stick. You can just use a couple tablespoons, and then try with the spread. So here are some ideas, and there are a ton of reviews online for some things like this, and people love them. So just an idea, it would be fun to just try to sneak it in this year, and you can tell your family later. But just using the muffin idea, because then they're portioned out, so you could put them in a muffin tin, but you add pureed vegetables. So one lady, she was talking about on her blog, right? She just takes that frozen cauliflower mix, and that's the carrots, the broccoli, and the cauliflower, heats it up, and then purees it, and then just adds it right in the mac and cheese. Nobody knows, and you're getting a ton more vegetables, right? It's kind of makes it creamy, right? And so you can use other things too. I talk about just butternut squash is a very common one, actually, because it's already orange and it has a sweeter flavor, so you might as well try it. And then just remembering, mac and cheese is great with broccoli, just mix it right in there, don't hide it. So that's an idea. And then there's the stuffing, right? I love stuffing. So the idea is just to make it a little bit healthier. So trying to use a whole grain bread when you can, right? Just getting some whole grain bread, getting a loaf and just letting it dry and toast it, and then use that. And then add in vegetables, add in the onions, celery, add in extra walnuts, cranberries. You can put in cubed butternut squash or kale. I have a lot of friends who do the kale version, and reduce that butter. And butternut squash, it doesn't have to be intimidating. You can just buy the frozen one and just heat it up, or you can get it usually cubed at the store and just heat it if you want to go that way. You don't have to tackle the whole squash. Okay, So then you could also try stuffing an acorn squash. So I think this is pretty trendy, but they're so delicious. You take that squash that's pictured up there, and you can basically stuff it with almost anything. So you could do just apples and maybe apples and cinnamon, and then you bake it. So you bake it first, right? So you cut it in half, take out those seeds, and then you bake it. And you can do it cut side up or down. There's seems to be a kind of a controversy out there. Some people say it steams better if you put it on the cut side down. Some people say no, I like it up because it's more roasted. So just either way, you're good, right? So you just cook it for a while in the oven, and then when it's about done, you can stick a fork in it. Then you stuff it with stuff, and then just rebake it, and you can put in a bunch of different things. So this can also be a main dish too. So it's lots of good options with that. And then, how we are supposed to make half of our plate vegetables, right? Vegetables and fruits. So I have to give you a lot of vegetable options. So you already have some, but just add some more to your holiday table, okay? So roasted Brussels sprouts are delicious. I don't know, you might have been forced to eat them when you were a kid, but try them again. They're like candy in the mouth, when they're roasted. So top them with a little balsamic vinegar. I think you'll be surprised. You might still not like them, but that's okay. And then you can mix them with dried cranberries if you want. You can put them with apples, like they're pictured here, apples and Brussels, common. Roasted asparagus, it's excellent. Simple. You just take the asparagus, right? Roast it, salt and pepper, you're good to go. And then there's also like something like a spinach and kale salad. And you can just take that spinach and kale salad, you add in like maybe a fresh fruit like apples or pears, because those are in season right now. And then a toasted nut, whatever nut you want. And then maybe a dried fruit and a vinaigrette. And you can just have something like that. Can be good. And sometimes people are kind of like kale, it seems really rough, like you have to chew it a lot. You can massage it. That's what a lot of people do. If you want to break it down, you just put a little bit of oil on your hands or cooking spray and just kind of just massage it, and it'll break down so that it just I guess it's easier to chew and kind of less tough. So just a tip there. And then some other favorites like roasted squash and apple bake. This one my mom does all the time. It's just she takes the squash, right? She peels it and then just she either puts cut apples in there, or she'll actually just put applesauce on there and bakes it, and it's really good, and puts a little cinnamon on it. And so the nice thing is you can do that ahead, especially if you use the applesauce, because the applesauce is not going brown. But you can, if it's tough to peel for you, you can microwave that butternut squash just for a couple minutes, and then you can master it. So the other options, I have a cabbage and apple slaw that I made up there. It's like a yogurt dressing. It's really good too. And just remember, like people, like you have a lot of soft foods at holidays. You know how there's like the stuffing, mashed potatoes. Like it's like people need a crunch. A texture is important in like just trying to get a variety in your meal. People are more satisfied when they have multiple textures. So thinking about, a veggie tray might not be a bad idea. And then we're talking about the potatoes, right? So potatoes aren't bad for you. They're not bad at all. It's what people add to them. So, and we also remember that they're considered kind of like the carbohydrate too. They're very starchy. So we already have a lot. So one option might be to try to use some cauliflower this year. And maybe just try half and half. So I have a diehard family member who loves mashed potatoes. It's like the go-to, like makes it all the time, not just on holidays. And so for her, we were able to put in mostly cauliflower, not all cauliflower, and she still loves it. So just, I guess that would be vouching from that way. We weren't able to completely go, but try it. It's really, it's good, and it's lower calorie and gets you a different kind of vegetable. And then there's just trying roasted new potatoes. And then don't forget about sweet potatoes either. You know, they do have a lot of carbohydrate, but they have a lot of vitamin A, which is great for your skin. And then you guys, you can just give the potatoes a day off. There's nothing wrong with that. So using fresh or frozen cauliflower, steamed and roasted then, and then you whip it, right? You can add in a bunch of different things. So lots of fun options. You can just put in a little bit of hummus if you wanted, but cauliflower is probably the most widely used potato substitute. It just has countless varieties, variations. So here are some other mashed options. I won't talk a lot about these, but just basically, there's definitely options. I've seen somebody on her holiday spread, she just did a bunch of these mashes. They were all rainbow colors. You know, it's so fun. I mean, you don't have to just do mashed potatoes. So they could be prepared the day before too. So that's a nice thing. And then remembering side of fruit. You know, it's not always a bad option just to have that with the meal. Um, I know, I guess from personal experience, I have a relative who always brings fresh pineapple. And you know, it's kind of nice to have something refreshing like that with like the heavier foods. You know what I mean? So just thinking, you know, maybe include something like that or something like grapes, or if you've heard of ambrosia, it's oranges with shredded coconut. So you could do something like that. You know, it's really hard to find oranges in Florida. Okay, so you guys are like, all right. So dessert, um, I know we have to talk about this. Might as well address it head on, right? So how about like, so there's actually this Greek yogurt chocolate mousse that looks really delicious and it's on the Diabetes Food Hub. You should be able to just click on that link. It should be active for you right now, but you can go to it and then they have like parfait glasses and it's pretty good for you and it looks delicious. So I haven't made it, but that could be one of the things I would. Then there's baked pears, delicious. You can use a ton of things with pears. So just dipping the pears in chocolate, kind of like you would with strawberries, it's kind of a fun idea. So, and it would get you a fruit then too. So here are some other ideas. That picture right there, that is actually beet chocolate cake with chocolate avocado frosting. I made it for my family last year and it was really good. I think they all liked it. So it was very moist. You know, it wasn't like really fluffy, but you can see it's pretty good there. I mean, not really dense, and it was really good. So that's just an option. You know, think outside the box. You know, can be have a little fun with it. And then stuffing apples. That one's easy, kind of, you know, and common too. You can just take those apples, you kind of take out the core, and then you put them in a like a container in the oven, and you stuff them with different things, and that can be a hit for a dessert. Apple crisp, it doesn't have to be hard either. I actually know a lady who just makes that. She just cuts those apples, and then on top she just crumbles up like one of those harder granola bars, you know, like Nature's Valley or something like that, and you know she just bakes it. You know, keeps it really simple. And then I just wanted to say that pumpkin pie too. You remember the first slide when we were talking about substitutions? So just remember that when you're making that pumpkin pie. You know, it doesn't have to have cream. Try evaporated skim milk or try skim milk and, you know, do some egg on the bottom there. And you don't need all that sugar and butter and it can still be delicious. So here are just some other healthier dessert options. Like there's chickpea blondies on the left. We got the pumpkin almond granola bars. We have walnut date balls with cocoa and a blueberry bake, you know. So just mixing it up, and that would be ways to get healthier options in your stomach. So now I just wanted to talk a little bit about leftovers. So you have heard the usual, right? So obviously leftovers are just good by themselves. But if you get sick of them, which maybe you might be, God, people are giving good dessert ideas in the chat. I'll have to look at that later. So the usual soup and sandwiches, you've heard of that, right? So turkey soup, we got it. You could also do something like an open-faced tuna ham melt on whole grain bread. And then I was going into Wawa, and you know they have ideas for you. They do the sandwiches. They do a hot turkey stuffing. They just put it all on a sandwich. You can get that with mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes. There's no reason you can't do that at home with a whole grain bread, right? And your modified versions. And then try and just put it in a bowl. There's also crustless quiche, right? So you just basically take some of those leftovers, like the veggies, the meat. You could throw in a little mashed potatoes if you wanted, and with the egg, right? And then you bake it. And there's actually recipes out there for mashed potatoes muffins. 3 cups mashed potatoes, 1 egg, throw on some cheese and some veggies, and you just bake them. And you take them out of those muffin tins. So that would be a fun way to use mashed potatoes. You know, your family won't even, they'll be like, oh, this is a new dish, Mom. So there's an option. And then there's shepherd's pie too. That one, I think I like that one because you can put on the top, you could put on mashed sweet potatoes, which I like. And then on the bottom, you just put the veggies and meat, basically. And that's kind of the shepherd's pie idea. So kind of, you know, Brussels sprouts are great on the bottom. It's really good. And another lady, you know, she just says she just puts it all on a spinach salad. You know, at least you're having it on a bed of greens then. She just dumps like her, you know, pretty much what you have, traditional foods right on there. So you know, fun idea, and might as well, you know, like try some different things. And here, you know, with the leftovers, right? You have all these leftovers. Maybe you could try, maybe now is the time to stuff the acorn squash, because that would be like a whole new dish, right? So you just take that Thanksgiving leftovers, whatever kind of sounds good mixed together for you, and then you put it in that squash and you bake it, and could be a really delicious main dish for your family. Oatmeal and cranberry sauce could be an option. Stuffing and veggie omelet, and then using like Greek yogurt and, you know, just mixing in some sweet potatoes or making a parfait can be a really pretty dessert option. So just here's, you know, just trying to get some takeaway then. Just really enjoy your holiday, you know, have fun, but that's like actually mashed pumpkin there, not even mashed sweet potatoes. So, which would be, well, yeah. So just, there's lots of good options you can put on your plate. Okay. And I just have that evaluation. What I want to do now is, if we have a couple of minutes, I want to look at the chat box and see what you guys have written. But just really, I'll send that evaluation. I really appreciate your time. I just talked a lot. So hopefully you can take away at least one thing that you could apply to your menu, okay? I see some of you in the video thing and they're like, okay, we'll see. But I really, if I could do that to make you healthier, that would make my day. So I have Eventbrite, and that's where I put all my list of classes I have coming up. I'm about to post a few more. We have some major reports due, so it's kind of been a delay here, but some usual things, some fun classes, I guess, coming up. So you'll have to check that out. And then just that's me, and it's cauliflower rice, not cauliflower mashed potatoes, but I'm doing my best here. So that's that. And don't forget, we have 2 more of these classes, okay? So it's like a series. So next week, or the next time, I think it's early December, we do gifts you could make, you know, with food, and then some fun snacks. And then the last one, I think, is the appetizers and mocktails. I'm already having some fun with that one. So you guys all have to come to all of them. I really appreciate it. So thank you for staying on, and let me look and see if there's any questions. Instead of flour, like arrowroot powder, yeah, that would be great thickener. So like when you're trying to thicken up things and use broth instead of a creamy soup or creamy something, arrowroot powder definitely works. She's like, I definitely love the mashed potato casserole. Yeah, veggies and mac and cheese, it really works, you guys. You got to try that one. Yeah, and roasting the seeds, if you top anything with seeds, if you top that butternut squash or acorn squash or that sweet potato casserole with nuts, just roasting them or toasting them for a second in a pan on the stove, just until you smell them, brings out their sweetness and really intensifies their flavor. So that's a good one. Yeah, mashed potatoes are a hit. Fruit salad with walnuts. That, yeah, seriously, just having a fruit salad topped with walnuts and Greek vanilla yogurt. Wendy says, okay, and the link does not work. I tried that. I'm sorry, you guys, if it doesn't get you the right spot. Black bean brownies. That's a good one. Yeah. They're really, they're moist and nobody knows. Black bean, they've been around for a while now. So people have gotten good recipes. Let's see here. Okay. So peanut butter, vanilla yogurt mixed in a graham cracker crust, topped with fat-free Cool Whip and chopped peanuts. Makes a good peanut butter pie. Wendy thinks that sounds good to me too. I love peanut butter, so kind of right up there. And avocado for the chocolate frosting. Right. Good. So I'll just see if I'll send out the diabetes recipe with a survey, okay? Or not the diabetic food hub one. It's really good, even if you don't have diabetes. That site is excellent with recipes. They have really good looking ones with a good, people like look at them and make sure they're not bad recipes. I guess you sometimes find things online you're not really sure where they come from. Yeah, you guys, happy holidays. You guys are like, we're not ready yet. I know it is kind of early. Okay, yeah, ginger snaps could work. And thank you to all the Haines City employees too. I gotta tell you, I know some of you joined, so really appreciate that. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I guess not. I'll look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks then, and I really, really appreciate your time today. So go eat healthier foods, right? All right. Bye, everybody.